Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I'm going to do something different. I figure you've already read the title, so you know it's going to be different. If Francis can switch up his style midway, maybe I can too. So I figured that what you're looking at here, my mugshot, being different than the gaming videos if you've seen the previous content on my channel. So let's just jump into this conspiracy theory that I have on my mind. I don't know if you know, but I'm a huge Van Damme fan. You can see here in the background, we got Lionheart on the TV. This conspiracy theory really ties in to Lionheart because I like to imagine that in my theory that Francis is sort of like Van Damme. Like, he's not all the same background, but when it comes to the end fight and the end game, like with all the betting and stuff, you guys know that betting is real, like UFC betting, sports betting. It's no surprise to anybody that you can make a lot of money or you can lose a lot of money. So that's definitely going to tie in later in this video when we discuss considering why it may be not what you think. Alright, so the things that I want to consider so that you can understand why this is actually a conspiracy theory. First, I want to ask the question, where is Dana? Like, if you look on the internet right now, you can see that, Dana has broke his silence, or Dana responds to UFC 270. They're all pre-recorded stuff. Like, a lot of people, like 50,000 people probably think Dana went out shoe shopping right after UFC 270. When really, as soon as UFC 270 wrapped up with Francis winning, Dana White left the building. No one had seen him since. He did not come to the press conference. He did not put the belt on Francis like he normally does. And I want you to consider, that the contract drama is only the contract drama. Like, that's only money. Obviously, Dana White was planning to fix that contract drama with just a Francis loss. Meaning, if Francis lost, who cares what Francis does with the contract? It doesn't matter to Dana. He has a new champ, undefeated record. He can sell tickets just on that principle alone. Alright, this video is probably going to be all over the place to you guys because I'm going to be a lot like Shield Sonnen. I really don't know what I'm doing, so I'm just sitting in a chair and I figured I'd just run my mouth and I'll cut out what we don't need and we'll run in there later. So if you can't follow me, I'm sorry, but I'll try to do my best. So I've covered basically what we all already know, which is that Dana's missing. The other thing that I want to cover is before 270. Like, everyone knew going into 270 that the contract drama was huge. Francis's mind probably wasn't all the way into the fight. He's busy, having to deal with haters constantly, so you can't really get your mind into training and stuff. And then we didn't even find out until like after the fight that he's injured, which it's just like Lionheart, he was injured before he went into that fight. He had a broke rib, but he didn't tell anybody because he didn't want the fight to end. He needed that money. Francis is in the same boat. Like, he needs that fight to happen for him. He's either done or he's not done, and to him that's what he wanted the question answered. So I want to backtrack just a little bit before the event and look at the things that Dana White had done to kind of put the betting odds in the favor that Francis was definitely not going to win. Like, if you look at the arena that they picked, I'm not huge on arenas, but I think it was like the Honda Center or something like that. If you do the history on there, it was like 4 or 5 champions before UFC 270 had all failed to defend their belt in that arena. Meaning, it's like football. If you're going to bet on like Tom Brady versus, I don't know, like the Steelers or something, or the Chiefs, and somebody throws some, like, stat out there like, I'm going to bet on the Chiefs, and you're like, are you crazy? You're betting against Tom Brady? And then you go, yeah, well, it's an away game, and they haven't won, the last 16 away games in that stadium. Like, that kind of stuff is real when people bet. So, like, Dana already had put all of, like, I don't know, I guess you would say the bad mojo in the pot, so that way it wouldn't work, like the chances of Fran winning, he'd even have, like the demons on his side. And it was working up until the Francis fight. Like, even the co-main event was a title fight. And the Brandon guy lost his belt. Like, the curse was still alive. It was very alive. And Fran broke the curse. Now, I'm not bringing that up that I believe in curses, okay? I don't think curses are real. I bring that up because Dana must think curses are real. He's trying to increase his chances of betting. And then I want you guys to realize, like, if you don't think that Dana bets, just look at this. If you don't believe me that, Dana bets, you can just go online and look yourself. Like, look, you betcha how UFC chief Dana White won $5,000 bet after security, or bet after legend Chuck Liddell beat the crap out of a hotel security guard. So, I mean, if he's willing to bet cash on one of his fighters fighting a hotel security person, I am pretty sure he bets some serious money on these fights. Like, and if you rewind back recently, Amanda Nunes lost. Who in the world would have bet that Amanda Nunes lost? Probably no one. So I figured that Dana probably lost a lot of money when his girl lost. So he was probably looking to make up for all of that loss with this bet. Meaning, I'm betting that all of the details of him stacking the odds against Francis, like, I'm sure he pressured Francis's coach. Like, you guys know that Gaines and Francis are teammates or whatever. I'm sure the UFC was like, look, we're not happy with Francis, and he's done. Like, basically, he's going to lose to Gaines, and this is going to be the end of his, we're done, the UFC's done with him. And his coach was like, okay, well, then I'm just going to go be Gaines' coach since he's going to have a long-time career here, and I guess that's why his manager or coach or whoever it was switched to go deal with Gaines, which is kind of like just like in the Lionheart movie where, you know, all of his team bets on the other guy. But Dana White is also going to be meeting with people during UFC 270. Like, you guys know Jackass was in the house. UFC 270 was sponsored by Jackass Forever. That means that Johnny Knoxville, Steve-O, the whole gang, they're going to be at UFC 270. These are millionaires, okay? And they are also really, really tight with Dana White. That's why Dana White is promoting their product to help make them bigger millionaires. So if you think about it, I'm pretty sure they would ask Dana White about some betting odds. Like, they would be like, Dana, because I know I would. I'd be like, Dana, what are you thinking on the heavyweight fight tonight? Are you betting on Fran or not? Like, and I would think that Dana's going to tell his enemies to bet on Fran, because that's the only way that you're going to cover your bet. Meaning, if everybody bets on Gaines, nobody's really going to make much money, because you have to have, you know, people betting on the other guy to actually make serious money. So with this fight, I feel like Dana probably told all of his enemies to bet on Fran. Meaning, like, if you came up to him and asked for advice and he didn't really like you, like if you were Jake Paul, he'd be like, yeah, go bet on Fran. You know, but if you were Johnny Knoxville, or you were Steve-O, or you were any of the Jackass boys, or any The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, anybody, he would have told you that it's as close to a sure deal as you can get to just go ahead and bet everything on Gaines. It's like, Dana also is kind of like, we already know he's a douchebag, he's an asshole or whatever, which, I mean, he might be a great guy, but you can be a douchebag and an asshole and still be a great guy, but you're just not a great guy to everybody. So, like, if you look, Gaines is actually a decent fighter. I would have loved to have seen him not fight Francis yet. I would have loved to have seen him wait out, like, just like in the movies. I think he rushed too fast to a title fight. I think he should have done a couple more fights and then go for a title fight. And I think it would have been way smarter, but I think since he was the only possible guy outside of John Jones that Dana could use to try and defeat Francis, he didn't really have any other options. So the 10-0 record was on the line, basically. If he loses, it's nothing. If he wins, it's something. That's why he's the best tool for Dana to use versus Francis. But that's at a cost of Gaines. You guys hear him now. He wants the rematch, so I mean, maybe we'll get it. So you're probably wondering how any of this is a conspiracy theory, right? Like, you've heard this stuff 29 million times already on the internet. Dana White's nowhere to be found. Nobody's heard from him. But I just want you to know that everybody has bet against Francis, just like in the Lionheart movie. Everyone that knows Dana, everyone that knows Francis, everyone that has big-time money, millionaires, whatever. And the reason why is because they would have been crazy, even if you were Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and you support Fran winning. If you asked Dana White who he thought was going to win, and he told you he thought it was almost a sure thing that Gaines was going to win, you would not go with your original bet. Alright, so yeah, like, if you look though, like, after the fight, like, after Fran wins, we know that Dana runs off, but I would assume that as Dana's running off, anyone who would have bet on Fran would have wanted to thank the hell out of Dana as he was leaving the building. They just won triple their money almost. Like, it would have been crazy, you know? It's like, but that's where the conspiracy theory starts in my mind. It starts on what happens with all the people who bet on Gaines, because Dana told them it was as close to a sure thing as you could get. Dana literally had stacked every obstacle against him as possible. There was no way that, like, even Gaines' own corner, when he's been on the mat for 8 minutes, is like, there's no way we can lose this fight. There's no way we can lose this fight. Because Dana made him that sure. I guarantee you, just like he made all the bettors that sure. Now here's where my conspiracy starts. I feel like once Dana ran out the building, there is no way in hell Steve-O, Johnny Knoxville, and the Jackass boys let Dana just roll out of that building. Now, I would say, yeah, he's got security guards, he's got all of that. I would have said they was after him. He might have got away, but if he got away, I guarantee you he was going to the ATM, because this scene right here is what I'm talking about. This is the conspiracy. This is why we can't find Dana. These people found Dana. I don't know who those people are. I know I say Steve-O, Johnny Knoxville, whoever, but I guarantee you If Dana told me I was safe to bet $25 million on gains and I lost, Dana's not safe, okay? And Dana disappeared. So you look on the internet and you can see that Dana's shoe shopping and Dana's doing Twitters that he's going to be with Jackass and Johnny Knoxville in 9 more days. If no one knows where Dana White is for 20 straight days, by the time we realize he actually could be dead or missing, or, you know, something really crazy, how would we know? How would we know? I know some of y'all are thinking that I'm crazy, and I just want to draw one more stupid, you know, little, it's so weird, but does this not look like Gaines if he just had longer sideburns and long hair like me? I mean, that looks like Gaines to be, even though like Gaines would be like 4 years old in this movie, so like, unless he's, you know, wants some stem cells I don't know about, a conspiracy for another time, like, yeah. Alright, so the conspiracy theory is just the analogy of, we have Lionheart in real life, guys. Francis is Lionheart. If you don't support Francis, you're crazy. He's got the heart of a lion. He definitely was just like the same fight. Lionheart's getting his ass kicked in the main event. Everybody has bet against him. He tells them it's the wrong bet. He proves it's the wrong bet. He goes on to win. The end, though. Dana is that blonde-haired chick. Like, that is Dana. That's his character. He's the real-life version of her. She has, you know, you would think nothing can happen to her because she owns, you know, skyscrapers, all right? Well, we don't know what happens to her in the movie. We don't know. But we do know that she has a marker that was not fulfilled. And I believe that that is the same thing we have with Dana right now. Dana has a marker that is not filled. I do not know who runs things, and I do not know who's in charge of big-time markers, but it is my personal opinion that you do have a conspiracy here. The conspiracy is that Dana lost a lot of people's money and they are coming for Dana and Dana is hiding. I'd love to hear what your guys' thoughts are. Drop them down in the comments. If you like my new style of video, if you want to hear me do something else live, let me know. I've been selling things on Facebook. I plan to do videos in the future to let you guys know what I'm doing with that. My business is kind of behind this camera, so it's all a mess right now. You can see behind me that my room's a mess. Like, but hey, who knows? So, peace.